Tony Atlas shoot fight with Paul Orndoff. Now, I know he talked about some of this on another the other channel back in a few years ago on Boston Wrestling, and he didn't he wasn't too happy about it. He didn't want to talk the rest of the episode. He was really getting pissed up there because people were lying, talking about he was on the ground hollering and all this. He said that wasn't true. No, about lying on the man. I know he's gonna have to straighten it again.
I'm not trying to brag on myself none, but most of the guys were really scared of me. You know? Just like Graham Blair told a lie one time about the fight with me and Paul Orndoff. There was not a fight. Paul Orndoff was riding with somebody, him and Graham Blair. They was riding with somebody. They left them at the building. Me and Tommy Rich was riding together. They left them at the building. They was healed. They weren't even supposed to be in the car with us anyway. But we were going to give a ride from Dayton, Ohio to Columbus, Ohio. So we pulled around the corner, they jumped in the back seat. So Paul, as soon as he got in the car, he said, "What is that fucking smell?" I said, "That's my barbecue rib." Come in, Tommy, we stopped at this barbecue place. Because most times we get up, the match in November, they started at 8, they was over at 10. So at 10 o'clock, most of the good food places were closed. And the only place to get food was like 7-Eleven, you know, a hot dog or slice of pizza or something. I couldn't eat that junk. So I got me some barbecue ribs, and I had me a tomato and a cucumber that I was going to cut up and make myself a salad, you know. I used to carry my own special made salad dressing with me, and I ate meat and veggies. That's all I ate. That's what I looked like. I wouldn't eat like pasta or bread. You know, I ate fruit, veggie, and meat. That was my whole diet. So Paul said, "I'm going to throw it out the window." Well, I just would joke with Paul. I didn't know he was in a piss poor mood. So I said, "If you throw my ribs out, as good as them ribs are, I'm going to throw you out with them." "Oh, do you think you can throw me out?" I said, "Yeah, I'll throw you out, Paul." And I thought, you know, out of good humor, you know, I wasn't even thinking about fighting nobody. So he kept hitting the back of the seat. "Pull over. Pull the fuck over. Pull the fuck over." So Tommy Rich found it, pull over. Paul jumped out of the back seat, ran around to the passenger door. I opened my door. Paul tried to sucker punch me. I was an amateur wrestler. So I double leg down. I don't know if you know what this movie is called, A Crater.
Yeah, he talked.
What I do?
He cut him off, but yeah, he talked about that before, because I was a 2-time champion, and you get him hook, you hook them legs, you ain't going anywhere. You're gonna be laying there snug. So you're gonna have your knee upside your head. That's how high you can hook them folks. Because amateur wrestling and the wrestling shooters, yeah, he's telling the truth. He told this story probably 3 or 4 times now. So how is the man lying? Especially I know about the amateur wrestling because I got out there the first time I got my ass kicked, but I still got out there. But yeah, that's amateur wrestling. You hook them legs. You know, come on.
Let's say I'm on the right side of you. I put my arm behind the back of your head. I reach over, I grab your left leg, and I pull your left leg up where I can lock it in like this. Yeah. And then I take my legs and wrap it around your right leg.
You ain't going nowhere.
It's called a crater in amateur wrestling. All amateur wrestlers know this move. And I held Paul there until he cooled off. And then finally Tommy said, "Okay, guys, that's enough. He broke us up. Me and Paul, we hugged each other. Said, "Man, I'm sorry." I said, "Oh, man, I'm sorry." You know, didn't think nothing of it. We get in the car. Tommy Rich said, "Tony, you bleeding?" Now, we couldn't figure out why I was bleeding.
He got bit.
You know, he missed. He didn't hit me. I didn't hit him. Where the blood come from? So I figured I scraped my elbow or something on a rock or something. So I pulled down the visor, it had a little mirror, and I saw this little earlobe right here was hanging. Thomas, "Oh, hell." He said, "Your earlobe is bitten, Tony." I said, "Oh, shit." And I said, "Paul, you bit my fucking ear?" He said, "Y'all was so scared." He said, you took me down so quickly, I didn't know what you were going to do to me while you had me down there." So Paul said, when Tommy Rich said, Tony, you don't want to go through life with that piece of meat hanging. He said, I went by the hospital. He said, they could stitch that up in no time. So I went to the hospital. They stitched up that little earlobe right here, this little piece here, stitch it up.
There we go.
That little piece. You can't see it because, it's been years since it was done. But anyway, make a long story short, the doctor said, I got to hold you overnight. I said, for what? He said, because I gave you a tetanus shot. And we just want to, we have to look
to help the so don't get poison infection
overnight to see if it have any effect or anything.
Yeah.
They said we do this with all our patients that take a tetanus shot. So I stayed overnight.
Now see, I believe him because you get that if you step on glass or step on a sharp nail or something. Yeah, because that's nothing to pick at. So you got to So what's the man lying about? I see why he was pissed off that time. He didn't want to talk for a good 10 minutes. He was pissed off. Talking about he was on the ground hollering and oh boy, that's something. Like they tried to say that with the other fight with Batista and Booker T. He was talking about he was on the ground hurting. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know the man, but I still don't believe that. About that, Booker T wasn't on no ground hurting now. I don't know where they got that from.
Well, like wrestling, it's the wrestling business. The next morning, everybody was telling the story. And everybody that told it to add something to it.
See,
now, you ever notice when people talk to Paul, he was always very non-talking about it.
They trying to make it work.
Me and with Fred, the best of Fred, he knew the story, but it made him look good. So he didn't want to erase that. He wanted people to really think that he was, this tough SOB. And I'm not knocking him, but fighting Paul Orndoff was like fighting a 12-year-old girl. He knew nothing. He was a football player. He knew nothing about fighting or wrestling. Nothing. That's why it was so easy for me.
I don't think Orndoff was scary now. I don't know about that.
He didn't know how to sprawl. See, with me, you shoot from leg, I sprawl on you.
Because the other fight with they talked about that too with Orndoff and not Tony, Orndoff and Vader. And Shivani said he was right there, and Sullivan said he was right there, and he said it was rough in there. And then Dallas Page said he liked both of them, but it was a long day. He said it was right. And he said Orndoff to them Florida folks or something else. So that temper, boy.
And I pushed down on your head at the same time, and then I spin around behind you. That's what a wrestler do. He didn't know that. So it was so easy. I took him down like, if you ask Tommy Rich, the fight didn't last more than 30 seconds.
Where is Tommy?
But over the years,
Tommy could come in and... Where is Tommy?
That's not even a fight. 30 seconds.
Well, he had another show.
It ain't no damn...
He had another show to do. But I saw they asked Hannibal, the guy in Canada, Hannibal asked Tommy, and Tommy told the truth. Now, Brian Blair lied. I asked Brian why he lied. And he said, well, you know the business, brother. You have to make it look good. But Brian Blair lied a lot about. I saw him doing the thing. In fact, I cut an interview on Brian Blair too and cursed him out. Told him if he keep doing, I'm gonna whoop his ass. Cause Paul didn't like that either. Cause Paul was always afraid that I was gonna. In fact, that's why me and Paul never had a good match because of that story. You watch a match of me and Paul Orndoff. I took him, I pressed him over my head like this a couple of times. I set him on the top turnbuckle, and then I patted him on the head. Every time I wrestled Paul, that what they did to me, and if Paul was that tough, why he let me do that to him in front of 20,000 people?
I remember, this is obviously, it's before I was born when this actually happened, but you and Paul for the WWF, probably for Tuesday Night Titans, you had like a pose down at one point, didn't you?
Now here's a funny thing. You know when he threw that cake in my face?
Go on.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh, really?
I wasn't watching back then.
When me and Vince...
That might have been 84, 85, because I ain't started watching wrestling until 87, 88. So, yeah, I didn't remember all that. But because by the time I watched Tony was gone. Orndoff, I think he was still there because he had turned on Hogan. But Tony was gone. I think he was in WrestleMania or something. But that was it.
Junior did
I don't
stuff
remember
like
all
that
that.
to me. Why, I don't know. He always liked to fuck with me. I don't know why. He always had an animosity towards me. He said we're going to do a pose down. So we did the pose down. Then Paul came out and threw the cake in my face. Because you see how Vince and them jump up to stop me from going out for him? Remember that?
Yeah.
And then Vince go, no, Tony, no, Tony, no. Because I didn't know it was going to happen.
Mm-mm.
I did not know it was going to happen. Another time that Vince pulled a surprise on me, when I was doing an interview and Vince wanted me to pose. Just posing again. And Hogan came out. I didn't know Hogan was going to come out. When me and Rocky lost the title, I didn't know we were going to lose the title.
Really?
Vince didn't tell me. He told Rocky, but not me. So I asked Rocky later, I said, Rocky, why y'all didn't tell me? He said, because he knew Vince knew you would not go for it.
That's something, boy. When he told that story before, I said it was on the Boston show. Tony didn't want he got sick of it because he got sick of hearing bullshit. He was like, he said, you was on the ground screaming. He said, no, stop talking about that shit. Man, Tony, he was getting pissed off by the minute. He was on the ground screaming. No about that. Just like I said, those shoot wrestlers in amateur wrestling, those holes, they'll stick your arm or where it don't want to go. Ask Kurt Angle. He knows all that stuff. So, and what's the other man? Lesnar. So come on now.